It's another day on the internet, which means it's another day for someone to complain about Elden Ring's difficulty, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's a particular viral video going around right now, and this one's coming from Santa Monica studio writer Elena Pierce that apparently made a claim. And again, haven't watched the video. I was waiting to do a video on this before we actually watch the video. We could do it together. But apparently claims that having a 2-year-old is a situational disability and also claims that she's pansexual.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
Now, I don't know with her, what's her being pansexual have to do with anything regarding the Elden Ring thing. I'm sure we'll find out in this particular article. But I have an issue with the 2-year-old is a situational disability argument that she's trying to make against Elden Ring. So let's get into this video, guys, from that Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Santa Monica studio writer Elena Pierce claims having a 2-year-old is a situational disability. And she's a former writer, editor for IGN, apparently, and recently claimed in a video discussing Elden Ring's DLC Shadow of Erdtree that having a 2-year-old is a situational disability for the game. Pierce stated, "I'm not actually asking for an easy mode. That isn't the intent. Here's the thing I want to spell out when accessibility is concerned." From there, she listed out a number of type of disabilities. There are also multiple kinds of disabilities, especially where gaming is concerned. There are long-term disabilities. There are situational disabilities. There are temporary disabilities. Specifically discussing Elden Ring, she said it counts as a disability where Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old. You're trying to play Elden Ring. You can't pause. That is a situational disability that you have with the game not having the option for you to be able to pause. For example, is a hindrance for your particular disability a situational disability. She continued, you may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket, a power outlet. Pierce had stated, and there are temporary disabilities. You break your wrist, you sprain your wrist, you temporarily have trouble playing video games. You would need something to help you press certain buttons to play Elden Ring. All right, stop at this point. Like, can we stop? Because what's going to happen is that you are trying to make the argument that From Software, right, has to make a game or options that's going to help with all of these potential physical disabilities, situational disabilities, whatever disabilities. They can't do that. It's only a matter of time before you start having an option for like 1,000 different forms of disabilities. What are you going to like? Okay, first off, if you broke your wrist, you probably shouldn't be playing video games, right? You probably need to be focusing on letting your wrist heal and having a little bit of self-control before you start playing video games. That's just number one, right? Number two, if you have a kid, perhaps you should focus on spending time with that kid instead of playing video games. Or, you know, maybe if you don't have a multi-family household, that's fine. If somebody else can't watch the kid while you're playing video games for a little bit or whatever, I get that. But that's a you problem, right? That's not a From Software problem. From Software doesn't have to make a mode or an option where they have to make it easier for you to be able to ignore your kid when you're actually playing, video games. Like that's not the thing. From Software doesn't have to focus on helping you ignore your kid. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. Now I get it, man. People have been asking for a pause button in Dark Souls style games for the longest time, but this has to be the worst excuse that I've ever heard to implement a pause. Oh man, my kid is doing something unwatched, unmanaged. Let me go complain to From Software that I can't pause the game to go save them from hurting themselves so that I can continue to ignore them afterwards. That's insanity to me. The third one, long-term. People have long-term disabilities, she said. I do. I have tendonitis in both of my wrists from playing too many video games. Unironically, that is a thing. From tapping too much. That means any rapid button mashing in a game, I'm going to have a lot of trouble unless there are accessibility options to prevent that. It's part of what I worked on in God of War Ragnarok. That part of why I made an accessibility awards show to highlight this particular thing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're trying to compare God of War Ragnarok to Dark Souls, right? Miyazaki has made it very clear, and I appreciate him for saying this, but he's made it very clear that he and the team have a vision for Dark Souls-oriented games. And that vision is not going to sway because people think the game is too hard, too difficult, too unforgiving, too whatever. It's not going to sway. They have a vision and they're sticking to it. And I fully 100% respect that. This is why Elden Ring, Dark Souls style games, and everything under the sun that falls under that umbrella have gained a certain popularity, have gained a cult following, have gained a certain notoriety because of this mission, right? Because of this vision that they have for the game. It's not going to change. Elden Ring is just another Dark Souls game that people are going to complain about. And guess what? The next Dark Souls game is going to come out. And what do you think people are going to do then? They're going to complain. They're going to say that, oh, it should have this. Oh, it should have that. I got to tell you, this has been the most stupid argument I have ever seen from a person regarding a Dark Souls game. Okay, you have tendonitis in your wrist. What do you want it to do? It's already not technically a button mashing game, not to the extreme anyway. It's not like it's a fighting game, right? You dodge, you roll, whatever. You attack when you can, and you dodge, you roll again. It's not like you're spamming square, triangle, X, circle, 24. That's not what's happening, okay? You are literally complaining about something that doesn't even exist in this particular game. If this is button mashing for you, then that means you can't go anywhere near a fighting game, I gotta imagine, or even a first-person shooter. I can't see how that could be a thing. Now, listen, as I said earlier in the video, From Software, it can't do it. Like it cannot make a mode for every single disability. That is asinine, that is stupid, that is an insane ask, and that is something from a narcissistic standpoint. You have so much narcissism in your body that you have to ask a developer to essentially make it easier for you to ignore your child. That is insane. I will never, ever be behind that. Pierce's comment about describing a 2-year-old being a 2-year-old as a situational disability comes the same day she claimed she was pansexual. Oh, so we just doing everything now. This is all happening in the same day? Wow. In a video uploaded to her Elena in Real Life channel, she stated, as for what my identity is, I don't care what you want to call it. I think the term that fits me first, based on a literal description, is pansexual. I've had many a bigot be like, you're just bi. Okay, if you want to call me bi, I don't give a shit, whatever you want. But for me, it's basically, I don't really care about somebody's gender or genitals in any way whatsoever. I don't care what you have, and I don't care what you identify. So you're just a whore. That's it. Like, pansexual is the upgraded version of bisexual, right? So bisexual means you take it from both sides. Pansexual means you're E for everyone. That's essentially what it is. And you, if you want to be that, okay, rock your stupid what? Like, all you do is put colors together. That's it. Like, why is it that every single sexuality has to have a flag? That makes no fucking sense. You guys are not your own nation depending on your sexuality. Like, stop it with the flags for sexuality nonsense. Nobody cares about it. It's the most retarded flags we've ever seen. It's literally just a bunch of colors bundled together and forming a new identity based off it. You guys are boring. Like, every single one of you are boring that do this shit. So apparently, yeah, she decided to come out as pansexual the same day, which is ironic, that she decided to make this video complaining about Elden Ring. But all I really got to say about that is just get good, scrub. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.